Well, thanks for flying.
Good morning. This is Marnie from Habitat. I'm up in Ely getting ready to do a kickoff celebration with Brittany Satterwhite. She is rehabbing this home and will close and move in with her 3 little girls. So we're going to go ahead and get started.
There we go. All right. Well, very good, everybody. I'm going to just take my mask off a little bit here while I say some comments for folks. Welcome, everybody. This is the exciting day where we're kicking off and celebrating really the beginning of this project with Brittany and her 3 little girls and the community of Ely. This project, of course, as you can tell, has begun already, but this is just kind of an official way for us to acknowledge that we've gotten this going, and to give the community a little bit of information about what we're doing and how this is all going to work. So one of the things that is important about Habitat is that we partner with families in need of affordable housing, and they work with us to build a home with community members in Ely here. And as we get started, I'm going to just make a few introductions. Of course, we have Brittany Satterwhite, who we'll hear a little bit more from as well. We've got a couple of board members here with us today. Caroline Owens has been on our board about as long as I've been at Habitat, since about 2003, on and off. Doug Gettle is a founding board member and currently our board president. And we have Greg Eisenhuth, who is the construction supervisor extraordinaire for this project. Thank you, Greg. Pastor Thiel, Thiele from Ely, Grace Lutheran Church, who is here to give a blessing. And you're gonna have to remind me, Jerry, yes, Jerry, one of our great volunteers who has also been very active on the project here. Doug, you remember back when I was a brand new executive director, this was one of the first projects that we worked on together. Would you like to maybe just add a few comments from the board of directors?
Well, first of all, welcome from the board of directors. We're always pleased. This has been kind of a house we've been working on for a while to get a family in it, and so we're really happy, Brittany, that you're here. And it sounds like you're putting in a lot of work here to get things in shape. So we're very pleased there. I'm trying to think, this house, that was back in
03? Yeah.
2003 that we worked on this one, and so Nathan was still pretty green yet at that time. But that one, I think, we went right into the winter time in that one, didn't we?
Yes. Yep.
I think the last thing I remember was trying to move that shed with, we just had bars and rollers, I think,
wow,
everything in shape. But anyway, that's, I guess recollections, this was one house I didn't spend lots of time on, so I remember we had kind of an unusual foundation design on it. And it sounds like I didn't pour this concrete, but whoever did wasn't planning on somebody taking it out, for sure. So that's a good thing.
So Doug, speaking about some of the construction and some of the work we're doing on the front here, Greg is our construction supervisor. And Greg, can you tell us just maybe a little bit about your experience in taking on this project so far, maybe working with some of our volunteers in a limited capacity, and what are we thinking about for the front here?
Well, the front we're going to be putting on a porch, roof, shed roof with post and beam construction on the front. knock the old one out. That's what Doug was referring to, that it was poured pretty solid, and so we had to really get a jackhammer to get it out. So they did a good job on the concrete. But it wasn't planned. They weren't planning on it coming out. So I have been involved with Habitat for maybe off and on for 4 to 5 years, and the last project that I did was actually in Ely, the other build that we had there. And I enjoy working with people, especially those that need to get into a house, and it just gives me a great joy to do that. It's my purpose, and I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to work with Brittany on this project. She's such a hard worker and very agreeable in doing things that she's asked. And Jerry has been my #1 volunteer, my main man on this project. And due to the COVID, we've kind of had to do things a little differently with the volunteers, where we're kind of cut back to smaller groups, which actually has worked out very well. We've been able to get a lot accomplished in a short period of time. It's been a good challenge too, because we're going into a house and we have to kind of make sure everything is structurally sound, and it's kind of fun. It's a little more difficult than a new build where everything is brand new, and so I enjoy the challenge of that, and really enjoy working with Jerry and Brittany. We've had one other volunteer too on the project, but I assume we'll have others as the work dictates when we get into the siding and possibly sheetrocking if we don't do that. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to fulfill my gifts.
Thank you for using them here with Habitat. You know, Habitat brings all the people together to build an affordable house and display God's love in that way to a family in our community. So that is the beauty of Habitat. A couple things about Habitat. I talked about kind of the basics of Habitat, that Brittany partners with us, and the way in which she was selected. We look at 3 criteria. One is there needs to be a family who needs an affordable house. That's usually the easiest thing, because you know there is an affordable house crisis in our communities these days. So lower income has a part to do with that. You know, just having a struggle finding a simple, decent, affordable house in the community. Certainly, we found that Brittany could use a stable, energy efficient home in the community of Ely. Secondly, we look at her ability to afford to buy the home from Habitat through our affordable mortgage. And so she had to demonstrate that she had a stable income, what we call responsible credit. Some people ask me, like, what's the credit score that you need for a Habitat house? And I'm like, I'm not looking at the score. We are a bank as well. We hold mortgages, but what we're looking at, instead of just a number, is what is this credit report telling us? As a person, you know, maybe they've had some issues in the past, but are they turning the corner and being responsible now? And certainly we know, because Brittany's standing here, that she has responsible credit and is able to afford an affordable mortgage. And then thirdly is that piece of sweat equity. I always tell people, we don't build a home for you, Brittany. We are building a home with you. And there's a big difference, you know. And Brittany's been an excellent partner and attested to that fact, as Greg and some of our volunteers have witnessed, putting in many, many hours, as she should, building her home along with our volunteers. So we do have a minimum requirement of 200 hours of sweat equity and an extra 100 hours from friends and family. But I tell people that that's a minimum, you know, because generally you're building your own home. I'm going to venture to say you're probably getting already close to that now, and the project's still well underway, Brittany. It's not like someone would come and halfway through the next workday, you'd look at your watch and say, I just got my 200 hours in. Call me when the house is done. It's like, no, you're partnering with us, and I think that we'll hear from you in a little bit, but I would imagine, Brittany, that your experience at working with volunteers and the community to build your house has been a pretty special time as well. So those three things, a willingness to partner, an ability to pay an affordable mortgage, and certainly having need for housing is what we look for. And we are accepting applications for the community of Ely as well. So if you know of somebody who may be able to use the program, please call our number, look us up on our website, and that's one way that we can help others in our community. Now I'd like to just acknowledge, and you guys can tell because we're wearing masks, we're socially distanced, there is a pandemic going on, so that causes some challenges. But the news of the day is, just because there's a challenge doesn't mean that you can't get stuff done. And I think that's a testament to our communities all across the Iron Range, our community of Ely, our volunteers. So we are carefully and cautiously getting the work of affordable housing done in our community. But for our dear friends in Ely, you may notice that we haven't just opened up the gates and say, who wants to come volunteer? Come on over. It's a little bit more careful and cautious. Certainly if you would like to volunteer, give us a call, send us an email. But instead of having as many hands on hammers as we possibly can to involve the community in building a house, because of the pandemic, we're carefully looking at the house and saying, today we need 2 volunteers. You know, next week we're gonna need 1 volunteer. The following week, oh, we can use 5 volunteers. So in order to be safe, that is how we're approaching it. So certainly we know that all of our partners in Ely are patient with us and understanding that there's a reason why we're doing that. But you know, maybe next year, the year after that, when we get another project going, it'll be back to, hey, everybody, come grab a hammer. So that's an important part of what I wanted to share with you all today. The other thing that I think is important to know is that Habitat, we are an ecumenical Christian housing ministry. What does that mean, Nathan? Those are big words. Ecumenical Christian housing ministry. By ecumenical Christian, what I mean by that is we're a Christian organization. We're not Lutheran or Baptist or Methodist. We just have that Christianity as our base and foundation. It defines who we are and why we do what we do. We also partner with everybody, people of faith, people of no faith, because the mission statement is displaying God's love by grabbing that hammer and helping a family in need. And that is a pretty, that's welcoming and open to everybody. But our Christian foundations really do define why we do what we do, working with the community, working with our local area churches and businesses and organizations to help a family with a home. And as part of that, it's when we get to a celebration like this, we always try to invite the community of faith to represent that fact and also just ask a blessing as we continue the rebuilding of this house. And so today we have Pastor Thiele from Grace Lutheran Church, who I believe is also where Brittany is affiliated. But Pastor, we'd like to just ask you to say a blessing or give us some words from that perspective.
Absolutely. We'll begin with a brief reading from Psalm 121. The psalmist writes, "The Lord will watch over your going out and your coming in, from this time forth forevermore." Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we give thanks for the new beginnings and the new life we find in you. Today we especially give thanks for those who are building this house, for those hands and hearts that join together to build this house. Bless them, watch over them, and keep them safe. For the family that will soon make this house their home, for Brittany and her daughters, Kirsten, Claire, and Caitlin. May this home be a blessing for them as they grow together. May this home be a blessing for all who enter. And may God's love be known for all who enter, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor. And certainly it is great to have God's blessing on the work that we do at Habitat as we partner with Brittany. And Brittany, so that brings us all the way back to you, where we get to hand the microphone over to you. But I'm sure you have just a couple of words you'd like to share, maybe about your experience, what brought you to Habitat, and what you're looking forward to.
Welcome, and I'm Brittany. My girls, Kirsten is 7, Claire is 5, and Caitlin is 3, and we're all very excited for this home. I moved back a little over a year ago to Ely, and we are living in an apartment right now. It is doable, but I do have to remind them we have neighbors and they can't be as loud, and we're looking forward to putting our own touch on a home and having a place to call our own. They are very excited about it as well. They have all the plans made, but I've enjoyed working with Greg and Jerry, being able to help work on this place and volunteering my hours and building my own home. We've put in lots of hours, like you said. It doesn't stop at 200, so I have over 100, and there will be many more. So as you can see, we've done lots of work already. And it's just every week is something new, and I'm enjoying learning new things about the building process and tearing down siding and just being able to be a part of it. And we're excited to be able to move in and, like I said, make it our own, put our own touches on it, and have a place to call home.
Nice to celebrate with you. So, with all the work that you've done, any blisters yet?
Yes. I've had this one and this one. Yeah.
I always tell
Scraping
people,
the floors and moving the rocks.
Oh
and
yeah.
little back pain.
You know, that's part of building a house, and there'll be fond memories,
Yes.
you know, years down the road. Brittany, I had a chance to build my house years ago, and I always tell people, it's like, you know, there was blood, sweat, tears, and a lot of laughs, and a lot of great memories, because all of the emotions are involved in putting down roots.
Right.
And when you see how thick the sidewalk concrete was, you can just imagine the roots of this house are sunk deep in Ely, and you know, the community definitely welcomes you as well. I know Pastor Mayor Novak wanted to be here today, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. But the community of Ely also welcomes you to this home and putting down permanent roots in Ely. And like I said, I'm sure we'd have more volunteers than we could handle right now if we didn't have pandemic issues to deal with. But everybody's working together in the ways that we got to do to make this happen. So congratulations. We are excited to be in this together with you. So I think that's unless there's anything else that I've forgotten. Comments for the community, for Brittany. So,
You said it all.
thank you. You know, normally I would give you a wishy-washy answer, even just with construction, and then when you throw the pandemic on top of that, it's going to get even more wishy-washy.
I certainly understand that.
But I would hope that, you know, and the other part of it is the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to see how far we can advance it. So certainly we'd love to have Brittany in here around the first of the year, if not before, but it could go into a little bit into the spring as well. Yeah. So how's that for a non-committal?
Very non-committal. Let's just say hopeful for spring.
Yeah, and then, you know, if we call you back in 2 or 3 months with great news.
That would be even better, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
You never know.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being able to be here.
Absolutely. We try to get to all the homes in the program. It's a wonderful thing.
And you can call our office if you need if you have any questions, if you guys write anything up.
I will be.